morning, lovelies. So this project started because Joann's had a sale where a lot of their fabric was $9.99, and I decided that I wanted some linen pants. So I started doing a little research, and while I was there, I got 4 yards of linen fabric, and then I accidentally went into their clearance section. I know, I'm not supposed to do that because I'm trying to be responsible, but I found this really cute fabric right here, and it is white cotton with black flocked polka dots, and I'm kind of in love. So this first pattern is, well, this first sewing I am doing is this short sleeve blouse. Now this blouse is kind of an amalgamation of patterns. The main body of this, I used the patterns by Gertie, her blouse pattern, which is B6563, and I do believe this is still like for sale. And I use a size 14. It really fits. It's quite comfortable actually, and it's got quite a bit of room. However, he doesn't really have any of the sleeves I like. So recently, if you've been watching, I did a dress, and I love the sleeves on that dress. The pattern number is B6018, and it's just a nice little short sleeve pattern. But because I did it in a couple size larger, it gets me this nice puffed sleeve. It fits well, it moves well, and so I just did that pattern instead. All the seams on this blouse are finished. This was my first time working with flocked material. I'm not sure about the flocking, but I like the fabric, so yes. You will see the blouse at the end of the video with me wearing probably just a black skirt so that you can actually see how the blouse fits. Other than that, I hope you all have a good day, and I will see you all next time. Okay, so here I am pinning the darts together in the front, I believe, yes, that's the front. So I have already finished the front edge, and how I did that was I stitched 1/4 of an inch away from the edge, and then I folded over and then zigzagged on top of that to keep it from excessively fraying. It will fray and it will pull out of whack. That's just how fabric is. But yes, here I'm just matching up these lines that I've drawn and pinning and pressing, well, sewing, and then I'll go and press them. I have done this blouse pattern before. I quite enjoy this blouse pattern. It is very comfortable and very stylish, and really this isn't too much different from my other videos. I do try to be a little more concise. So here I am getting ready to prep the collar as well, and that you sew 5/8 an inch on one side and then clip and press that in before sewing up the collar. I will also be French seaming these, and how I did this was, again, I pressed 1/4 of an inch in on the hem of the sleeve, and then I will be French seaming up this edge, and then I will, once it's French seamed, I will press the seam allowance towards the back and then assemble it. Here I am attaching the front to the back. So the back shoulder seam is eased in, which is why I'm pinning the edges and then pinning that little triangle and then easing that in. And that just involves wiggling the fabric around with your fingers until it matches up. Then here I am sewing the ends of the collar, which I will then flip out and press and then baste along the long edge so that it holds its shape. You do not baste that little opening you made closed. You can just like pick up your needle and move it to the other end, but you want to base down that edge because it will end up getting hidden by the front facing, which is a self facing. This does not have a back facing. What you do is you turn all that excess seam allowance up into the collar so that it just, remains hidden. I did pull all the seam allowance towards the back because I wanted a smooth finish on the front. Plus, the back is eased a little bit, so it's got a little bit of puff and movement there, so it fits well. Once I have this pinned and sewn, I will turn the facing back and stitch that down while it's still movable. Once I've got that, the facing down, I will flip the seam allowance for the back up into the collar and hand stitch that closed. And then I will sew up the side seams using, again, French seams. I'm trying to use sewing techniques that will allow me to have little to no fraying, as in it won't fray as much, meaning I will get longer lasting shirts or pants or dresses or whatever. I still consider myself an amateur because I am still learning all these different techniques. I'm kind of learning it by myself or on my own. I do have a couple books of sewing techniques. My latest one's a couture technique book that just talks a lot about hand sewing, which is very helpful for me because it gave me some hints into different styles of allowances or seam finishes. So here I am just pinning that front facing back along the front fold line. And then once that is pinned and in place, I will sew it down using the 5/8 inch seam allowance, and then I will flip that piece out. I did hand hem all this, except for the facing to the main shirt. That I did at 5/8 of an inch on the machine, and then I just did a hand turned hem, basically 1/4 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch, folded up twice, and then I hand whip stitched the hem to the blouse, trying to make it as invisible as possible. It was I wear my shirts mostly tucked into things, so this was a good practice run for doing other things like dresses or pants where you might see the seam. So this allowed me to work on my hand stitching. And here I am just stuffing all that seam allowance in, pushing down the hem facing because I will tack the hem facing to the shoulder seam allowance. So I am just tucking all that excess seam allowance in, and I will hand sew that closed. I did use all cotton thread for this, so this is basically an all cotton shirt. So here I am using my little dull hemostats that are probably like 40 or 50 years old at this point. And then hemostats are great corner turners, by the way. And here I am prepping to do the side seam, sewing the front to the back. So as you can see, I'm getting ready to French seam this. 1/4 of an inch, press open, turn, 1/4 of an inch. That's just how I do it, and it works really well. I get a nice long wearing blouse out of it, and I don't see any fraying, which makes me a very happy camper. This pattern does have a Peter Pan collar, but it is not my favorite. I find it doesn't suit me. I've got a very round face, and that's a very round collar. So here I am setting these sleeves. So this sleeve, I marked the top of the shoulder, and I used the seam allowance, or the seam to match up the side seam. So I just pin around the bottom until I get to the gathering stitches. Then I pin the head of the sleeve to the top of the shoulder. Again, using the seam allowance in the shoulder as a marker. And then I gather both sides down so that the puff is at the top of the shoulder as much as possible. So this is a slightly puffed short sleeve, and it fits around my bicep wonderfully without squeezing. So I have a full range of motion with this blouse. I have the feeling I get wearing these blouses is it's very comfortable and very classic, I should say. So there is like an inch on each side that needs to be gathered down, and I do gather it right into the middle of the sleeve so that everything lines up well. So once I do this, I will sew 1/4 of an inch, making sure to overlap on the gathering stitches. I will then, instead of doing a second line of stitches like 1/8 of an inch away from the first and trimming down all of that, I will then turn each of these 1/4 of an inch in and whip stitch it. Now here's the finished product. I do really like this blouse. It is extremely comfortable and very fun to wear. So thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye.